So, oh, it's going to go over. Hi everybody, thanks for clicking play. I had a different idea for presenting today's topic, but it kind of got boring watching me write on the board, so I wrote everything in and I thought we would just jump right into it. My name is Nala. I'm the owner and lead collaborator of Lodestar Collaboration, and today, as you can see, I want to focus on structuring a blog post visually. There's 3 reasons to do this. The first goes back to my days as a technical writer student, where we learned that there were a lot of tools that we could use to convey and present ideas and topics to readers in a way that they'll understand them and easily absorb them. Those same tools go into my reason number 2, which is when you see them on a page, it signals to the reader that this is going to be an easy and fast read. And that is something you really want to project so you can draw people into your blog article. Lastly, the reason is more focused on you as the blog writer or me. I find that having a structure that is set and that I come back to time and time again makes the new articles easier for me to read. So I research and write, I know what kind of information I need to collect, I know what I want to convey, and it just makes the task of writing that article a little less daunting. So there are 8 elements to what I use as a structure for some of my clients, and I thought I would share those with you. There's more and we can get into those, or you can leave a comment at the end and I can answer it in the comment. The first one being the H1 headline title. Personally, I like the headline to fit on one line. So I'm saying 5 to 9 words. But it depends on what those words are, long words, short words. But generally, I like my headline, the top headline, to fit on one line. I just personally don't like how it looks when it carries over because it's a very big font. But secondly, I don't like that it pushes my content down on the page. You're going to see about this much that's above my hand when you first land on the page, and I want this stuff to be able to grab them and pull them in. Secondly, your headline should be intriguing. Now I'm a technical writer, but I also have a journalism background, so I don't like to be tricky, I don't like to be overly clever with my headlines, but I do like to use some words that might convey the topic I'm talking about in an unusual way. Unusual, for example, is an intriguing word. So if you can find a way to add some intriguing words to your headline, you will be able to pull readers in as well. My rule of thumb generally is to kind of throw a headline up there when I'm in my rough draft, write the article, fine-tune it, support it with the imagery and other things, and then come back and rewrite my headline and come up with a lot of them and then pick the one that works the best. I also recommend, because I know that this works, putting primary keywords into your headline where you naturally can do so. So my routine is when I get the topic, I take that topic, I go to the Google Keyword Planning tool, I enter it, I search in the communities where my client has their offices, and I see what comes up. I sort them by the number of searches done every month, and the top 2 keyword or keyword phrases become my primary keywords for the article. The next 2 become my secondary keywords. And sometimes I mix and match, sometimes they're very similar, so sometimes you don't have a lot of choice, but I do like to put primary keywords into the headline if I can. The second thing to look at is the paragraph, and I like to keep mine pretty short. I will break it up. If I have a longer story to tell that relates to the topic of the article, I'll break it up into a couple short 2 to 3 sentence paragraphs. But I like this to be very easy and very grabby, very interesting. Pull them in and tell the story a little bit. So if I'm introducing a metaphor into the story that is going to wrap things up at the end, I'll try to find a way to do that very succinctly and keep this a nice, short and easy read. And in my second paragraph, I like to look at my secondary keywords and put those in there. I have done a lot of reading and I've kind of seen some evidence of putting too many primary keywords too often up front in everything, and if you don't mix it up, sometimes your article can be penalized for that. The third element on the page is the main feature image. Sometimes my website is a WordPress website and I maintain it, and so I have what's called an archive of my blog articles, so an image and a short snippet, and then you link deeper to the full article. So that is also called a feature image, and it's okay if you have a feature image and you come back here and it's repeated. It's nice for people to have seen that image and come back here and maybe they saw the headline elsewhere and they saw the image and they know they're in the right place. So that's a little bit off. But the key thing I want to stress about this image is that you have a caption. And years ago, I took some newsletter writing courses, and they talked about how the eye moves over a written page and how an eye moves over an image. But one thing in both cases that always gets read is the caption. So I would make sure every image you have has a caption. I would make sure the image illustrates the topic. I think that's really important. I think using the third item here, the primary keyword in the file name somewhere, the file name of the image, so bloody-bloody-blah.jpg, somewhere in there. You could even put the headline in there if you want to name the image that. It just helps in the long run with SEO because Google doesn't read your page. It's looking at all of the code, and file names are definitely part of the code. And you have an option for images if you're uploading this to the blog itself. If you're writing for someone else and you're giving them a draft, I always put in brackets what the alt description should be. And again, I tell the story here, so I might go a little bit longer. An alt description, in case you don't know, when images are loading, these days most images load fast, but when they don't and you hover over them, or for some reason your browser won't show you the image, it just shows you a little icon. If you hover over that, an alt description will pop up to try to tell you what you're looking at. So if you can tell the story of how this image works with the article and with the overall topic, awesome. The next important subhead is an H2. H1 and H2 are things that search engines look at and trying to understand if your article fits what somebody just entered into the search bar that they're looking for. So something I like to do when we get to the second kind of break in the article is to ask a question. I like to keep these to 7 to 10 words. Again, it's a word choice, but for the subhead, I don't mind so much if it breaks over 2 lines. And here I might try to put in some primary keywords or a keyword if it works. I'm not a stickler for that. And you can experiment and try and see which one works better for you in terms of measuring how long a reader stays on a page. The fifth item I have, and I didn't fill it in, but it's text links. So this is where you are going to link. I've got a little blue underline here and here, where people are reading through your article, and perhaps you reference another article on your own blog if you're writing for yourself, which would be an anchor link. And I'm going to call it a referral link. And again, I don't know if I'm 100% correct. This is kind of what I call it for myself. But if you're linking outside of your blog to another source of information, link, then it could be a referral link. And I like to mix them up. Taking them to more helpful content within your website is fabulous, as long as it truly is helpful content. So if I write a blog article about this video and I talk about primary keywords, I might link to another article I've written about how to use Google Keyword Planner tool to find keywords for the article that you're writing, and I might put it there. But I might also link to some other really helpful articles written by professionals who all they do is SEO, and then I will send them out to that website through that link. And let's see, number 6, bullet points. Bullet points really grab people. It could be a bullet list is an unordered list, so it's a list of things that you are using to highlight the topic that you're writing about. And my own personal rules are there have to be at least 3, otherwise it's not a list. I don't really like to go more than 5 because then it just gets a little long and it just gives the impression that, too much of one thing is just too much. So I don't generally like to go more than 5. If for some reason I feel I have to, I will break it up with another subhead and I will try to repurpose those other bullet points around a different kind of subtopic within the main article. The nice thing, I think I mentioned, it adds visual interest. If you are walking somebody through a process, this would be a numbered list. In HTML slang, it's an unordered list or an ordered list. Oh well. And then you would have 1, 2, 3 instead of bullets. But bullets really draw the eye and they bring people into your article. Number 7 is a secondary image. And again, have a caption. People just read them. They just do. Use the image where it looks best. I tend to line my images up when I'm writing my own blog articles on my own website. I tend to line them up to the right because I just like the way that the copy flows. Sometimes when they're on the right, especially around bullets, sometimes you just got to really be picky about the spacing around the image so that it all looks really good. I also have a graphic design background, so I do want the page to look appealing. Sometimes you're limited. I have a theme on WordPress, and sometimes you're limited by that. But so you want to use the image, the second image, where it looks good. Sometimes I will use secondary keywords in the image, in the file name for the image. Very important. And the last item I have here is your closing or your call to action. So I mentioned earlier, keeping in mind as you go through, what do you want the reader to do? Do you want them to stay on your website longer? Do you want them to sign up for something? Think about what the outcome of the article is. It could just be straight up help. For me, a lot of mine, I want people to subscribe to my YouTube channel so they can be notified of other videos as they get uploaded. You might want to ask a specific question. You might really be curious about what people think about the article that you wrote. And so you might say, hey, please tell me your thoughts about the second bullet. I find that when you can be really specific, people will leave a comment behind or take the action that you're asking of them because they genuinely people want to help. What else? Be specific. Excellent. So I've used, just to wrap up, 2 images here, but if your topic lends itself, you might want to take some data that you found in your research, for example, and put it in a graph or put it in a chart. You might want to create a little table and insert it into your blog article. It's fantastic. It's all about communicating the information in a way that makes it easy and fast for your reader. And that's the end of my video for today. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. And as I mentioned before, please subscribe to this YouTube channel so you can be notified of other videos as they're posted. Thanks for watching and have a great day. Oh my goodness. There's some of the copy that you couldn't see before, and there's my little happy face. Sorry about that, gang.